Have you ever been part of a big, ambitious project with lots of different partners, only to watch it completely fall apart? Well, today, we're diving into a framework called QECA that might just explain why that happens and how to fix it. It's a totally different way of thinking about how we work together.
So let's just start with that big question. Why do so many of these promising multi-partner projects just fail? You've probably seen it yourself, whether you're in tech, government, or a nonprofit. Everyone's excited at the start, but then things just grind to a halt. What's going on?
Well, the answer, it turns out, is pretty simple, but it's a huge hurdle. It all boils down to this. They become a battle for control. The very digital tools we build to get everyone on the same page often end up trying to put one group in charge. And, that creates resistance and friction right away, basically dooming the project before it even gets off the ground.
And this gets us to what the source material calls the coordination conundrum. Think about it. You get different organizations in a room, companies, government agencies, community groups, and the software they're using forces a power shift. It asks, okay, who's the boss here? But nobody wants to give up their own authority. So instead of coordinating, they just end up in a standoff, and the whole thing collapses. Okay, so if forcing a new power structure is the problem, what's the solution? Well, this is exactly where QCA comes in. QCA stands for QuadCore Ecosystem Coordination Architecture, and it's a framework built on a completely different idea: design for coordination, not for control.
I love how the source documents phrase this. QECS sits between real-world governance and digital execution. See, it doesn't try to replace who's already in charge or tell a government ministry how to do its job. Nope. Instead, it acts like a digital bridge, a neutral layer that connects how things already work in the real world with the tools needed to get stuff done digitally.
And that brings us to the core idea, which is so powerful. QEQA's whole goal is to create a digital mirror of the real world. It doesn't come in and try to force a new system on everyone. It just reflects the reality of how all the different partners already operate. It just digitizes what's already there, making every interaction clear, traceable, and understandable.
So you're probably wondering, how does this digital mirror actually work? Well, QECA organizes the entire ecosystem into 4 really intuitive digital workspaces. They're called the 4 cores.
Now this is a really key point. These cores, they aren't new departments. They're not new centers of power. Just think of them as dedicated online spaces, like digital meeting rooms, where the existing groups can get together and coordinate their specific part of the project.
First up, you've got the corporation core. These are the platform operators, the tech providers, the ones who make sure all the digital plumbing works. In an agricultural project, for instance, they're the ones setting the technical standards and making sure everything integrates smoothly. Next is the community core. This space is for the people on the ground, the farmers, the small business owners, the local cooperatives. It gives them a digital space to coordinate their daily work, from planning production to managing their own members, all without giving up their local control. Then there's the consumer core. This is the bridge to the market. It's where everyone involved in sales and logistics hangs out: distributors, franchisees, even big corporate buyers. This is the core that connects what's being produced with the people who actually want to buy it. And finally, we have the civic core. This is the workspace for those big institutional partners, like government agencies, banks, or foundations. It gives them a clear, transparent window into what's happening, which is crucial for things like compliance, funding, and measuring the project's real-world impact.
See how it all comes back to that one single guiding mantra? Preserve authority, enable coordination. Every single piece of this QECA puzzle is designed to respect the independence and authority of each group while giving them the tools they need to finally work together.
So you might be thinking, okay, this sounds interesting, but how is it really any different from all the other platform models out there? And that's a fantastic question. Let's break down exactly why this isn't just another tech platform.
Let's walk through this, because it's really illuminating. Traditional systems, they assume one boss. That's great inside one company, but it totally breaks down when you have independent partners. Then you have the big tech model. Think Uber or Amazon. They work by grabbing all the power and making everyone dependent on them. Not great for collaboration. And on the other end, you've got Web3 or DAO models, which often have a really hard time connecting with the real-world institutions we all rely on. QECA is different. It's designed from the ground up to coordinate multiple actors, mirror the governance that's already there, and put real-world institutions first. It avoids all those other traps.
So the way to think about it is this. QECAA isn't another top-down enterprise system, and it's not a controlling big tech platform. It's something else entirely. It's a neutral digital coordination layer. Its only job is to be a facilitator, not a ruler.
So what's the big picture here? Why does a framework like QECA actually matter when it comes to solving the massive, complex challenges we're facing in things like agriculture, finance, or global supply chains?
Well, the power of QCA is that it's just so practical. The philosophy is simple. Step 1, start with what exists. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just map the real-world players to their digital workspaces. Step 2, digitize, then optimize. Just start by making things visible. Once everyone can see what's going on, they'll naturally start to find ways to improve. And step 3 is the golden rule. Preserve governance. The platform is there to serve the stakeholders, never ever the other way around. And that simple approach creates some huge advantages. Because it preserves existing power structures, it's way easier for people to get on board. It dramatically reduces that adoption friction. It creates traceability and transparency, which builds trust, and ultimately it creates a flexible system that can scale across completely different sectors, finally getting those big institutions to work together. And that brings us to the final, really powerful thought here. This whole idea represents a profound shift in how we think about collaboration. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. If we can finally master this art of coordinating without controlling, could this simple idea unlock the solutions to some of our biggest, most complicated shared problems?